Guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got another exclusive. I've got another bike that is brand new to the market. I've been waiting for this one. I know there's been a lot of people waiting for this one because I've had loads of comments from people asking when am I going to take this bike out. Well, today's the day. Let's have a look. It's here. It's only the Morbidelli T125X, brand new to the UK, 2025. This bike, surprisingly, is only £2,999 plus the on the road. So yeah, so you're talking a little over £3,000, everything all in. But what I've got to say with this bike is, if you can imagine something like a Yamaha Tenere in miniature form, you know, that's the bike that I know everybody loves. I'm a big fan of the new Vosges 800 Rally, but I know there's still a lot of love for the Tenere. Well, I think this bike is kind of styled very similar to that. So what we'll do, we'll have a look around the usual way. I'll throw some specs at you as we're going, and then of course I'll take it for a ride, because that for me is, yeah, that's where I get in my head if it's a good bike or not. They can look nice, but they have to ride nice. We'll find out today. So let's start like we always do. Full look round, you can see it from all angles. Now looking round, there's just so many different influences I'm seeing from different bikes. Now these bikes do come in 3 different colours. This is of course the white. There is also a grey and a black version, but I do like it in white. So we'll start on brakes. There's a single disc at the front with a 2-piston caliper, and exactly the same at the back. Lovely spoked wheels. Always think they look just right on a bike of this type. Nice thick foot pegs there. Type of bike that you could be doing some standing on, so yeah, you want to see that they look a bit beefy, or I do. They look alright. Now that's a strange thing. Just looking at that, I mean, you're obviously not going to sit on any of this bit, so I don't get. Maybe that's like a bit of a ball protector. Should you go forward? I don't know. Yeah, that's weird now I'm looking at it. Anyway, the seat does feel, yeah, it's like a new bike, so it feels padded, but you can see it's quite firm as well. That doesn't look particularly wide in comparison to a lot of bigger bikes. However, it is in a style that is more like an enduro bike, so it's not particularly wide, so I'm going to see how comfortable that is when we take it for a ride. Rear seat, yeah, I like it. There is probably 3 hands across. That is a decent size rear seat. Nice grab handles, couple of different positions you could grab onto there, so that's good. And rear pegs, should you want to take anybody on the back. It is of course a chain drive. It has just got the side stand. There is no center stand on this one. I don't know if that's something you could add on, but there's certainly none on the bike that I've got today. It has got a little bit of engine protection down there, a little bash plate at the bottom. Again, because this is the type of bike you could take out and get a little bit dirty. The engine in this is 124 cc's and it delivers 14.2 horsepower, so it's not far off the limit, which I like. I like a 125 to be close to the maximum that it's able to do, and I'm just hoping that the performance matches it when we take it for a ride. We'll find out very shortly. I've already referred to this bike as being something like a small Tenere. However, it's not that small a bike. And it isn't. It is quite a tall bike, so it does appear like something that would suit a taller rider. But I want to talk weight, because physically, as I've said, it looks like a very big 125. It's only 148 kilograms, so That surprised me. I thought it would be much heavier than that, but being only 148 means it's very, very easy to walk around. So if weight is something that is a consideration for you, yeah, it won't be a problem with this one. You've got some wind protection at the front, always good if you're planning to go that little bit faster. It does have LED lights. Buttons wise, very similar to what I've seen on other Morbidellis. I would say, I wouldn't say they were particularly cheap looking, but they don't look premium either. You've got horn indicators, you've got your hazards, there's a high and low beam, and then you've got the flash around this side. They do look backlit looking at that, but we'll see when the engine starts. Right hand side, engine start, engine cut off. Nice and simple. The bars are really wide. Yeah, definitely like you would expect really for an off-roader or a big adventure bike. That for me is a good thing, because said this bike is made to go off-road. So if you did take it off-road, it should make for a comfortable standing position. So that's something I'll test when I'm riding it very, very shortly. One thing that is standing out at the moment is it has gone down that Dakar rally bike-esque screen at the front. And looking at it, it just looks like quite a large mobile phone. Put my hand on it, it does. Let's switch it on, let's see what we've got. It is a key as well, no keyless on this one, let's keep it simple. The screen's nice LCD screen with splashes of colour on there, but you can see there's a lot of information. We've got nice big speedo, I like that. There is your total miles, there's a fuel gauge, gear indicator, you've got your rev counter going up there, and there is a clock. Oh, there is, yeah, we have got some here. Look at that, look and you shall find. So you're going through the trip computer and whatnot is at the side of the screen, but they are quite small. I would say they are very similar to a mobile phone. In fact, let me move the camera around so you can see just a couple of buttons. I don't know how you work that with your gloves on, it might be a bit of a faff, but they do have them. A USB port, always handy to have, especially on this type of bike where you have got potential to take it for a little tour, haven't you? I know 125s for some people might not be the ideal tour bike. However, I could see this with some side bags. It, for me, looks like a modern, improved version of something like the Sinis Terrain. It's that kind of style, and I think if you did have a luggage setup at the back, yeah, I think it would do well for a little bit of touring. Certainly when you get to the campsite and you take it off-road. Don't know why my voice changed there. Apologies for that. But yeah, I think it could do a job for something like that. The tyres certainly do look like they'd be alright for a little bit of gravel. Now, very, very recently, I've had people commenting about me not showing you me getting on the bike. Now, I've always done it because, you know, being a chubbier bloke, I always think I don't look particularly graceful getting on a bike, so I usually go from here to being on the bike. However, in the interest of fairness, I'm going to show you, because I can see the bike does go up a little bit at the back. So to see how easy I can get on the bike, I'm going to just keep it in. In fact, I'll keep it in all my videos from now on, so you can see how easy or not easy certain bikes are to get on. I'm 5'8", I've got a 29-inch inseam, so I'm only small. This bike, seat height, 820 millimeters, so it's not the smallest, kind of in the range of adventure bikes. The big adventure bikes tend to be about that size. So throw my leg over, wish me luck. easy enough to get on. So yeah, as expected, a bike of this type and height, I'm on the balls of my feet. I can't quite get my heels down. I'm probably an inch or so of getting my heels down, but because the bike is so light, you don't feel like it is too tall. Like some tall bikes, if they're really big and heavy, like a lot of the adventure bikes, you take it a little bit of a lean either side and you really feel the weight of it, and it can make your balance off a bit. Not so much on this. No hands, it's fine. Yeah, I don't feel too small for it, but I do think this would suit the taller rider, because there's not many 125s that feel as tall. The wide bars make it a really comfortable riding position as well, and as you can see, it's a back up straight. Central pegs. Oh, I think I like that. Again, I think just following on from the taller rider theme, sometimes when you get on a 125, you can put your foot on the peg and you feel like you're up a little bit. You know, the kind of smaller bikes, and they appear to be built for smaller riders, whereas this, the peg does feel quite low down. Again, short legs, but that is something that I think would make someone with longer legs more comfortable. But nice central peg position, and yeah, back up straight. So yeah, just a typical adventure bike riding position, but feels comfortable. And in the interest of fairness, show you getting off as well. Yeah, so far I'm impressed with this. The exhaust, again, it's very much like you would expect from something like an enduro / adventure bike. And I like, it's not one of those big, chunky, ugly things. I'm hoping it sounds like an enduro bike as well. Looking forward to starting it up. A lot of bikes that come from China, they tend to just have the E5 stickers. This is able to take E5 and E10. Nice little extra with the knuckle guards. Anybody that's ridden through winter knows how good these are at just protecting your hands from a bit of wind chill as you're riding. It's quite nice to get the protection from that. Always good. And also, as I keep mentioning, there is potential to take this bike on the dirty stuff, and these do act as lever protection as well should the bike fall over. Hopefully it wouldn't. That's the walk round done. If there's anything you feel I've missed off, what I'll do, I'll put a link in the description for Into Moto and this bike. So if there's anything you want to see in more detail, then by all means just look in the description and there'll be a link in there. Just follow that and you can have a look. Now it's my favourite bit. I'm gonna take it for a ride. Now just remember, this bike is brand new. I unfortunately won't be able to do my usual 0 to 60 performance because, yeah, it would be unfair. The engine is not running properly. It's got no miles, or it's got 1 mile, I think, this one. But I will do a 0 to 40 speed, and we'll just see how it is to ride. I'll go around Warrington town centre. We'll do a couple of different types of roads just to see, try and get a feel for it. So stay with me. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. Stay with me. Let's start it up. Let's see how it sounds first of all. See, I'm literally putting my face by the exhaust because that's where the microphone is. I'll have to hold my breath for a second here. That actually sounds alright. I mean, you can tell it's a 125, however, it does have like an off-road type noise to it, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it does. It's idle. There is no vibrations coming through the mirrors. The seat's nice and comfortable. Let's see how easy it is to maneuver, and I'm saying this because I've already told you and showed you it's quite a tall bike. But I'm going to do my turnaround test, and usually on adventure bikes these can be quite difficult just because you're doing them on either the tiptoes or your balls or your feet. But that was really not an issue. You can see how far away I am from the green fence. I was only there, so yeah, that was really easy to do, even for someone of my height. So yeah, if you're taller, again, things like this won't bother you, but for the shorter rider, yeah, it could be an issue. Whoop. Now I've got both feet up. It is actually really comfortable. I keep saying it, but it's very much like any other adventure bike, like big bike I've been on as far as position, but the bike does feel slimmer and it feels loads lighter. So it's got the positives of the adventure bike, and where the adventure bikes have that negative in most cases because they are all very heavy, this doesn't have that negative. This is a positive in its lightness, let's say. The clutch feels, yeah, I know you can always alter them, but the clutch lever feels a little bit on the stiff side. Not like unmanageable or anything, it's just, it's a new bike, so I'm sure that could be adjusted. Let's try the brakes, just the back brake. Yeah, again, very new brakes, but just stopping then, just using the back brake. And I started in second then. It was able to do it, and that's good. I like that with 125s. They're quite forgiving if you did make a mistake like that, or you know, you were just on autopilot. It happens to all of us. It lets you do it, so that's a good thing. So new rubber, so I'm not taking it too stupid on the corners, but around the bend it's alright. It does actually remind me of riding my own Vosges Rally. Now the seat, as I mentioned on the walk round, it's not particularly wide, but again, I'm used to riding enduro bikes as well, and that type, and this just feels somewhere in between an enduro and an adventure bike as far as the seat goes. It's not quite as slim as something like my Vosges Rally, but it's not as wide as what you'd get on a normal adventure bike. But it feels comfortable. My knees feel, again, it just feels really slim here, so it just makes you feel like you're on a slim off-roader, but it also has like a bit of adventure bike in it, so it's a little bit different, but I like it. 30 mile an hour, it's not an issue as you'd expect from a 125. There is no vibrations at all through pegs, bars or seat. I think what I need to do is do it from a standing start so we can get a better idea. It's nice around the bends actually. For a taller bike, it just leans quite well. Yeah, I mean at these slower speeds it seems lovely, but there's just not a lot to complain about. As far as the wind protection goes, yeah, at 30 mile an hour I'm feeling a little bit of wind on my shoulders, but across kind of the central position, so the main part of me, there is just no wind at all. If I lift my hand up to here, I'm feeling no wind, as you'd expect. I'm right behind it. As I get up to here, this is where I first start to feel any sort of breeze. So it does look like it's doing a really good job of just directing the wind kind of to the topper part of my helmet, so you're not 100% protected from the wind, but you're nearly there. It does sound nice when you wind it on a little bit, and that's all I'm doing today, winding it on a little bit, not a lot, just a little. In fact, that's what I'll do here. We've got this little private road. Let me just stop it here. Right, so we've got a little private road here, so I'm just going to do a standing start, and I'm not going to be thrashing it, but I'm going to be riding it like I would ride a bike like I just bought and picked up myself. You want to jump into traffic, you don't want to hold up cars, do you? So you want to move away fast enough without damaging the bike, obviously. We're clear, let's go. Yeah, again, it's got to 40 mile an hour very, very quickly. No, it's not a sports bike, but to get to 40 mile an hour like that, and I was trying my best to actually avoid taking it anywhere near the red. So yeah, it did it all right. I needed to do a standing up test, so I had to take it on a little bit of gravel and dirt for that, and it's alright actually. For somebody of my height, I can stand up and it feels comfortable. It does feel comfortable on the stand up. Again, it is very, very basic what I'm doing today, very basic. I'm just yeah, as far as off-roading goes, this is as basic as it gets. However, you know, this might be all you're planning to do with your off-road bike. A lot of people do. They buy these bikes because they've got a gravel track near their house or something. This is fine. Absolutely eats it up, and it's a nice position. Let's see, the boat club's out today. Nice. So again, do the same again. The position's alright because it is quite slim down there. I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about the bike. But it is, and it makes for a nice, comfortable stand-up position. I think the wide bars help with that as well. So if it is a bike you're thinking of getting a bit dirty, yeah, this isn't an out-and-out off-roader. It's a mini adventure bike. That's probably the best way to sum it up. The switch gear's working really well. Going through the buttons, the indicators, everything is very, very easy to use. It's an enjoyable bike to ride this. I could see this suiting quite a lot of people. I can't see it being a bike that's going to suit the shorter riders. I think the shorter riders may well struggle with this, but taller riders will certainly find this to be a comfortable bike to ride. I'm just going to stand up again for the cobbles because I can. Actually, even stood up and giving it a little bit of a twist in the throttle. Yeah, I think I'd have a lot of fun with this if I did take it on some light green lanes. My overall experience of riding this bike is a very, very positive one. It just has a vibe of a miniature adventure bike, and I don't mean that it's small, slimmer. It's a lot lighter. It's just a lot easier for someone who is going to be a new rider. I think that's got to be my summary. It's a lovely bike to ride, very forgiving. I did expect it to be a bit like the Sinis Terrain. However, from riding it, I'm going to say it feels a lot more than that. It feels much better than that. It certainly feels faster than that, because the Sinis Terrain was a little bit on the sluggish side. I don't know whether that was the correct comparison to make, because it is kind of, it's like a something like a Mondial SMX, which is like more of an off-road style bike. However, it's got this kind of flared bit here that makes it a little bit wider at the front. However, as you're coming back, it goes really slim, like that kind of bike. So yeah, it is kind of somewhere in between an enduro and an adventure bike, but it's a 125 version, so it's obviously lighter and smaller and everything else, but I really like it. I do. In fact, one thing I do want to point out, because the more I look at it, the more it's just giving me that vibe, is the screen. That's my mobile phone, and you can see, like, it does just look like a big mobile phone. Size wise, yeah, maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe if I'd have gone for the Pro Max. Anyway, that is gonna do me. Thank you for watching. If this is a bike you're interested in, I'll put a link in the description for Into Moto. Overall, very positive experience, and I'm now degloved because I've got my phone out. So yeah, for now, I'll catch you on the next one. Laters. YouTube.